Chapter 13, September 2008, Courtroom. Rosalia Home for Unwed Mothers. Choppy had kept the engine running while Aunt Peg had escorted her daughter with brisk steps toward the side entrance of the building, an old 3-story mansion that was crumbling into disrepair like the rest of the buildings in the neighborhood. At the entrance, the chief administrative nun, named Sister Benedict, had inspected Lil up and down, then ushered her and Aunt Peg into the building and locked the door behind them. Like the other nuns she could see walking around the place, Lil recalled, Sister Benedict wore a white, full-length habit and a round white bonnet tied with a bow under her chin. The nun said she and the other sisters wore white instead of black like the regular Sisters of Charity, because their clothes had to be frequently washed with bleach to get rid of blood and baby vomit and other unsanitary messes that were part of their work there. The interview had been brief and matter-of-fact. From this point forward, Sister Benedict had told her, Lil would be known simply as Ruth, an alias or house name meant to preserve her privacy and keep her identity unknown to social workers and even to the other nuns. She had to attend chapel and rosary sessions at least once a day. She would also carry out regular chores as instructed by the nuns. It would be best to have no communication with outsiders except her own family, and most importantly, before Lil was officially admitted, she and Peg both would have to sign a document agreeing to give the baby up for adoption, because the institution's priority was to find legitimate homes for children born outside the holy bond of matrimony. Lil had signed the document in her best cursive penmanship, followed by her mother in the space for legal guardian. With that, Peg had buttoned her coat, slid one arm around Lil with a quick hug, then hurried outside to the idling Plymouth. Lil had watched through the curtains as her parents' car had disappeared in the direction of the north side across the river, where they planned to spend the day, driving aimlessly to complete their grand deception. By 4 o'clock that afternoon, Choppy and Peg had whispered among themselves they would be able to return to their house and their ordinary Swissville lives without the black stain, at least nothing their friends and neighbors could see, caused by their daughter, who had committed life's most unforgivable sin. Ralph Akmovic had answered Lil's first letter, promising to cover whatever costs they had to incur for having this baby, even though it was your fault. You're going to put him up for adoption, right? After that, Lil said, she'd received only one brief note from Ralph via her parents, informing her that he'd enlisted in the Navy and that he'd be in touch real soon. The nuns had burned both letters in the fireplace, so Lil wouldn't obsess over them. She'd never heard from Ralph again. Humiliation, she came to realize, was part of life for residents of the Rosalia home. Yet this was a purgatory of their own creation, Ruth had concluded, no matter how much the warm-hearted nuns told them otherwise. Some girls on Lil's floor had tried to lose their babies by mistreating themselves, purposely tripping down the staircase or having someone strike them in the belly, or standing on their feet for days to induce miscarriages. But Lil said that she couldn't do any of these things. She had felt a strange sense of warmth and love toward this tiny new life taking shape inside her belly. She could now feel it kicking. Still, she felt confused when they gathered on Sunday afternoons in the library to watch films the social workers were showing, like How to Change My Personality and Me and My Baby, Hello and Goodbye. The only thing that Lil said saved her from total despair during those 4 months at the Rosalia home was working in the nurseries. You take care of these here babies and make them strong and healthy, Sister Maria Fidelis had told her on the second day, and you'll see what a great thing you're doing by bringing your own baby into this world. You're not a bad girl, Miss Ruth. You're part of God's miraculous plan. The pragmatic Swissvale side of Lil, she admitted, looking away from the judge long enough to become red in the face, had trouble seeing how allowing a boy to, quote, knock her up in the Kennywood parking lot at age 15 could possibly be part of God's master plan, but she humored the nun because she was so kind. Consequently, Lil spent most of her time in Nursery 3, working with what the nuns called the special cases. Most of these babies came from mixed-race couples, part black and part white, or Maronese, as some folks called them there. White couples didn't want these babies and considered them freaks of nature, Lil explained. Black people treated them with a mixture of superstition and fear. If they adopted them, they believed, bad things might happen to them. For that reason, Lil said, those mixed-race babies were like baby birds that other birds wouldn't go near because human hands had soiled them. So they landed in Nursery 3, along with babies suffering from birth defects. After 12 months, Lil knew from listening to the nuns, these special cases would become wards of the foster care systems in the counties where their mothers lived, or sent to government-run orphanages. Orphanages, the judge interjected, suddenly lifting his head and directing his comment to the witness. Sounds harsh to me. That's why I spent so much time in there, Your Honor, Lil responded, nodding her head. Sister Maria Fidelis said these babies deserve someone to love them, just like every other baby.